Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. Very happy to welcome Shawnetta Yancey. She is the new director at Canton Calvary Mission. Good morning.
Good morning, Susie. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you. We certainly appreciate all the good work the Canton Calvary Mission has done all these years and wanted to get to know you a little bit better. You've been in the driver's seat for how long now?
So I started on September 14th, and I trained with the previous executive director for about 14 days. So I've been there a little over a month now by myself.
And how familiar were you with the work that they've done up to this point?
So I was familiar. Actually, in high school, I did some of my community service hours that I had to do to graduate at Canton Calvary Mission.
Wow.
So it was kind of like a full circle to now step in as the director.
Oh, absolutely. That's pretty awesome. For people who are not familiar with the ministry, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, Canton Calvary Mission is in the northeast side of Canton, especially in the Gibbs Elementary area. So what we do at the mission is we make sure that the city of Canton does not go without food. We have multiple different programs. So every Wednesday, we have people that come into the mission for our pantry, which runs from 8 to 2:30. As well as for our hot meals. And we give hot meals out on Wednesdays and on Saturday nights. And we partner with a lot of local churches and youth groups and Boy Scout groups that come and they make meals. And we serve about 200 people on Saturday night. So that is pretty much what we're doing now. With this big transition, though, the mission is looking at adding more programs that are geared towards nutrition for the kids in that area and strengthening the families. So we look forward to adding more programs, but currently that's what we're doing.
Nice. What kinds of programs are you kind of thinking of?
So we're looking at almost like life skills. So getting families in and how can we budget? How can we do job applications? Making sure that the kids understand the food pyramid, understand that when you go to the grocery store, how to grocery shop for moms.
Yeah.
A lot of times we all know that we're all living on a budget and also with everything going on, but how can we make our dollar stretch when we're in the grocery store and we're also buying the healthy food and not the junk food? So we're shopping we're shopping the outside of the grocery store. So programs like that are what you can look forward to in 2021.
Wow, that's awesome. How has COVID-19 affected what you do and the people that you serve?
So COVID-19 has added so many more people that have a need.
Yes.
So you have people who have been laid off or their jobs have been outsourced or, they've been furloughed because of COVID. So we've seen a hike in our numbers. So right now, in a month, we're serving about 5,000 people. So that tells you that's about 1,250 people every single week that are coming to the mission. And we get people from all walks of life. You would think during our hot meal program, it would be those that are homeless or needy. We have people that are coming in full suits that are coming to get a meal because they have to go to work, but they can't afford to eat lunch. So we're providing from people from all backs of life. I'm sorry, I pronounced that so incorrectly.
You're fine. But it just, what a time. What a time for all of these things. It's almost like a perfect storm. Here you are brand new in the position, but you did you accepted it in the middle of a global pandemic. Shawnetta, my goodness.
Yes.
That just had to add an extra layer of challenges, yes?
It has. But I will say, from even being a child, my heart has always had Canton and always had wanting to, help out and help those that are in need. So I took it as a challenge. And, my husband would say, I take things and I'm like, where people go, oh my gosh, it's so much. I'm like, oh, it's small. But I like a challenge and I love helping people. So it was kind of a perfect win-win for me there.
Now, I know Marie announced a while back that she was going to be retiring. We all knew this was coming and, first of all, had to come to grips with that. Did you know that you were going to be taking her place, or how was that process as far as becoming the next director?
Well, I was not aware that I was going to take over, not at all. Actually, my old employer, I worked for Tikva Hands of Hope, and we were starting to help out, and there were kind of like talks and things, and we were learning more about the mission. And at that time, I thought maybe we would like partner on something, and I had no idea when we were having partnership conversations that I would be walking in and taking over in September. I had no idea.
Tikva is a good friend of the station as well. I'm interested in how the two of you work together. There seems to be a lot of collaboration from agencies and organizations and ministries that really do help and have a heart for people in Canton City and beyond. How have you worked with Tikva in the past?
How has the mission worked? I just want to get clarification of the question.
Sure, yeah. How has Canton Calvary Mission and Tikva worked together in the past?
So in the past, in Canton Calvary Mission and Tikva, I think it's really a new collaboration. I can speak on what is happening now. Currently, Canton Calvary Mission and Tikva, they have collaborated on the Backpack for Kids program.
Tell me a little bit about the Backpack program.
So with the Backpack program, that is actually, it has been working very extremely well. So we have been giving to the kids at Tikva backpacks. And what that is, and we also do that for all children of Stark County. They're more than welcome to come in and get that. But it gives them 3 breakfasts, it gives them 3 lunches and 3 dinners to ensure that when they're not at school during the weekend that they're not hungry and that they have that. And that is such a blessing to a lot of families, especially during this COVID time.
Yeah. Let's talk about food insecurity in general. You're seeing, wow, it sounds like twice the people if you've gone from 600 to 1,200.
Yes.
Man, talk to me a little bit about food insecurity. And, Shawnetta, there are some people, and there are some people listening, whose finances did not get affected by this. I mean, certainly everybody's struggling in one way or another. Just even the isolation alone is a little tough for people. But financially, they're okay and would love to help. So talk to me a little bit about what we can do to help the food insecurity.
So we always are accepting donations, both supplies. So we always need like mashed potatoes and peanut butter and jelly are big ones. We always need meat, always need non-perishable food. But then you also can donate to us anything that you have. I always tell people that we do have what is called Club 500, where you can, say, hey, I'm going to do a $25 monthly donation. But I tell people $1 can help hunger. $5 can help hunger. Whatever you want to do to help your local mission will help. And curbing that, there are people that are completely fine, but then there are those who also have no idea that how to get the food or where to go.
Right.
So I also say that to them, that if you are struggling and you don't know where to come get food, Canton Calvary Mission, you can come. You will always be open with open arms. Whether it's not a pantry day, give me a call. I will always put you a bag together because we have to fight hunger. We can't have people out here hungry.
That's such a good point because, as you said, there are so many people who have not been in this position before. They don't know where to go. They don't know what they don't know. So tell us where you are located, and let's give that number.
Okay, so our address is 1345 Gibbs Avenue, Northeast, Canton, Ohio, 44705. And our phone number is 330-454-8610. And you can call at any time. You leave a voice message and you will get a return call.
And you're absolutely right. We can't have anybody hungry right now.
No.
What do you need alongside food, like paper products, hygiene products? Is there that as well?
So we accept all of that. Right now, what we are actually doing is we are asking for different supplies. So we are looking for volunteers that will come help do room clean outs. And in order to do those clean outs, we need the cleaning supplies. We need the large contractor bags, the Lysol, the disinfectant sprays, gloves. We're in need of a lot of cleaning supplies because with keeping the mission open, especially during this time, we're cleaning double, if not triple, what we're normally doing just to make sure that the volunteers and staff that come into the building aren't getting anything, and those that are coming to get groceries and food, they are safe as well.
Mm-hmm. What about clothing, toys? I know for a while it was hard. We were really encouraged not to donate because concerns about spreading the virus. Are we in a place where we can donate clothing and toys and things like that again if they're disinfected well or if they're new, obviously?
Yes. So actually, as of it'll be November 1st, we are no longer going to have a clothing room.
Okay.
Because of COVID, we, unfortunately are not able to man that area. And you have to be very careful with clothing. And you have to have someone going through it daily and checking it and things of that nature. So we have discontinued that. But one of our sister churches, Crossroads, in Canton on Cleveland Avenue, 120 Cleveland Avenue, they are picking up for us. And they're going to receive those donations from us. Well, not from us. People can go there. You look them up, Crossroads. It's called Free Store. And if I don't have their number right on me, but if you want to call and make an appointment to donate to them, that is where we're sending our clientele to get clothes. And that's where we're sending our donors.
That's great. Okay. So if you have something that you were thinking, I would love to give Canton Calvary Mission some of these clothes, instead contact Crossroads. And you can just Google Crossroads and that'll take you right to it.
Yes,
but I'm going to give this address one more time. 1345 Gibbs Northeast
Avenue.
Gibbs Avenue Northeast in Canton. 330-454-8610. Okay.
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
Perfect. All right. You mentioned volunteers. Let's talk a little bit about volunteers. Do you need volunteers?
I absolutely need volunteers. The mission is in need of volunteers and work groups. If you want to bring your local youth group or your Girl Scouts group, or we are in need of volunteers. One, to help keep our pantry running, help keep our hot meals running, and also, like I said, to come in and do some clean outs and painting and just different various things. We want to keep the mission running and make sure that it's beautiful inside. So these next 2 months, we're giving the mission the TLC that it needs.
Tell me a little bit about the people there, volunteers and staff that you have and their heart for mission.
Oh, I absolutely love our staff and volunteers, and I'll speak to our volunteers. We had kind of like a little meeting, and we spoke yesterday, actually. That's why I'll speak to them. Our volunteers not only give of their time, our volunteers also go to their church, and they speak about the mission, and they bring in financial gifts as well. One of our volunteers, her church gives weekly to us, and we're just so appreciative of those that come. They come with such a heart for those in need. They bring things in. They bring masks to make sure they hand make them and bring them in for people. It just I can't say enough about our volunteers. They are wonderful. And that's why I'm trying to get them some help, but getting more on. But our staff as well. Our staff is, a lot of them came in either volunteering or through programs, and they were hired in. And a lot of our staff, they could be anywhere else, probably making double or triple what they make for the mission, but their hearts are so big. And it's not about that. It's about how can we help people? How can we fight hunger? And how can we show the love of Christ?
Yes. We're speaking with Shawnetta Yancey. She is the new director at Canton Calvary Mission, getting all caught up of what we can do to come alongside and help them in the wonderful work they do. We'll be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community. And welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Shawnetta Yancey from the Canton Calvary Mission. a new director there, although not new to the mission. I love the story that you actually did some volunteer work yourself there. Was that in high school? And there's a party going on back there.
Yes, I
Oh, that's
apologize.
all
We
right.
have some people that are very excited that just stepped in.
That's great. We
So,
love hearing all the life happening. Those are the sounds that should be happening at Canton Calvary Mission. So what was it that made such an impression on you as a young person that would draw you back later these days?
so the impression that I've seen is pre-COVID, when our pantry was operating. It operated like a grocery store. And one of the greatest things about that was people could come in, and even though they were in need, they were able to pick their own groceries. And that was something that stuck with me, was their ability to treat people like humans, even though they were in need.
Let's talk about that. You're talking about dignity, and you're
Yes.
absolutely right. Whether people have been coming a long time or whether this is their first time, it's a very humbling experience to have to ask for help. Being
It is.
self-sufficient is one of, I think it's just part of our DNA. And to be put in a position where you're having to ask for help, that's tough. How are you able to meet that need of dignity for the people coming to you?
I think the biggest thing is everybody that is volunteering or is on staff have been in their shoes. And letting them know, hey, I'm right here with you. And when you come here, you're not judged your family. You're an extension. Everyone needs help. So I think the staff and the volunteers get that across to everyone. And we don't look down on anyone. We let them know. The funny thing is a lot of our volunteers and staff are from the community, so the community knows them.
Yes.
So, hey, it's my neighbor giving me, these groceries and not a complete stranger.
Yes. And I love that. So you actually have stories of people who formerly were coming for help who are now being the ones who are assisting the people coming in for help. Talk to me about that transition. That's got to be exciting.
It is. I have one lady in particular. One of my volunteers, Claire, she started at the mission when it opened almost 20 years ago. And Claire was receiving of benefits, receiving when her children were younger, of the youth programming. And now Claire comes in. She helps with our youth programming. She helps as a volunteer to run the pantry. And, everyone has so much respect for her because when they come in for the first time and they're scared and they're nervous and some people are embarrassed because they've never had to ask for help, Claire she sees that look and she relates with them and says, it's okay. No one's here to judge you. Yeah. How can I help you? What else do you need? And she gives that warm, conversation. And, if a baby's crying and the mom is already going through something, she's like, hey, you want me to help? You want me to hold the baby for you? She is there and she worries about the whole man, not just, here goes groceries, but how can I help you emotionally, physically while you are in this building? Because that's what it's about. So she's one of my volunteers that I can't praise enough because she started there receiving and she's never left. She's been there, as long as the mission's been open, and she doesn't plan on leaving because the mission has done so much for her and she wants to continue to help. And she also lives in the neighborhood. She lives right next door to the mission.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So that's what I mean by, your neighbor is the one that is helping you.
Yes. And then what's the response of people coming in when they see, oh, it's Claire? I don't have to be nervous about this. It's Claire.
The response is something that if you haven't seen it, when people come and they have conversations, it's like old friends that are, they haven't talked in a while, but they're coming together and they can just talk and giggle. That is the response that you see and you get. Even with one of our volunteers, Terry, she makes so many masks for the kids, and the kids, they walk up and they're just grinning from ear to ear because this lady gave me something, and I've never had anything handmade for me, and she's giving it to me, and it's just out of love and out of her heart. So you see the kids smile. You see the people, oh, you don't want any money for the mask? No, I made this for you. And just hear that response that you made that for me and you want nothing in return.
We spoke with someone from the Stark Community Foundation yesterday, and I know that you've been a partner with a Women's Fund from that group.
Yes.
And you said something about the youth programming. So I know Women's Fund has been involved with, really excited about the youth programming and enthused about what's taking place there at Canton Calvary Mission. And then, you kind of had to make a bit of a shift on exactly what that programming would look like. Talk to me, where are you now with serving the youth in the area?
So currently, the only thing that we have going for our youth is our backpack program. Now, starting in 2021, that is when we'll be starting the nutrition program. Due to COVID, we had to make sure we were safe. Right. Everyone is still finding out everything about it. So we took some time to make sure that when the youth come back in our building, that we have it safe, we have it ready for them, and we can do everything correctly. So that's where we're at with youth programming. We're in the middle of still building it for 2021.
Let's talk about the building of it. What do you foresee that looking like in the near future? Because we are going to get on the other side of this, Shawnetta. This is going to be over, and it'll be past tense. And what do you dream youth programming to look like?
So from coming from a youth program and being a site director there, I plan on, when I was little in my neighborhood, we had a community center. And every day after school, you went to the community center, whether it was to get on the computer, whether it was to play in the gym for basketball. But this was the hub for the young people to come to. This was our hangout. This is where we knew when we went we were safe. We had adults that would pour into our lives and were positive. So what I see in that neighborhood, what Canton Calvary Mission can be for youth, is where they go to learn how to read when they're little and help them get those fundamentals built before they even start preschool. When they're in school, how can we help tutor them? When they need things, they know that they can come to us. We can be that safe haven for them. And as they get up into high school, we kind of shift. We help them with those life skills, teach them about, okay, if you want to go to college, this is what you should start doing now. If you don't want to go to college, you want to go to trade school, this is what you should be doing now. You want to start your own business, let's get you in front of people that can get you funding, how to do an application, be what they need, because the kids, they need those that care, and they need to know that it's real. So I would like to be the hub where they come, where they hang out, where they feel safe, is where I see the building going.
I know you probably haven't gotten a chance to have that much interaction with them now, since it's basically a backpack program right now. Yes. But what about safety? What about being a place where it's a safe space to talk about what they're going through, processing what they're going through with COVID, what they're going through with demonstrations taking place in Canton, everything that is facing a young person right now, issues and their place in the world. Where do you see Canton Calvary Mission being able to minister in that way?
I think that would come from the programming. And like I said, having those that, relate or have been through issues come in. So our kids, especially in that area, we have a lot of the children that are of a Hispanic population, or those that are of an African American, background. So having people that they relate to come in and speak to them, and explain, this might be what you're facing, but this is how you get out. So I think having some mentoring and some one-on-one, and also having some group conversations, and having those that are going to work in the youth programming, once we rehire a program coordinator who would do those, making sure that the program coordinator has those that are in place that can mentor and talk to our children through those situations. And also maybe even partnering with some counseling services, like maybe Encompass or something of that nature.
Oh, good idea. Great ideas. Yeah, well, we got to get on the other side of this so we can start some of this stuff.
Yes.
What do you see? Child homelessness, I think, is something that has really surprised a lot of people. We don't think of that as happening here. How can that happen here? What do you see?
Child homelessness has been an issue. Even when I was in high school, I had a couple of friends that were homeless. And it is so big. And, I know that in Canton Calvary Mission's future, we don't have it to do a homeless shelter, but to support those children and to get them resources, because a lot of them go to school, but no one knows that we don't have anywhere to sleep at night. So allowing them the space to talk about it and get them the resources and link them up, because we do have a homeless, connection and hotline in Canton, but a lot of times people don't know how to get in touch.
Right.
So I think to have that education for the parents and have a place where the kids can come if they need to vent, if they need a meal, if they need to get out of the cold and warmth until we can help them get somewhere permanently. I would say that's where Canton Calvary can help with youth homelessness. But it is a big deal, and it is rising, and especially through this, with people not being able to pay their rent and their mortgage, it's just getting worse and worse. So we need to step in and help.
You have such a far-reaching ministry and with limited hands doing the work. So let's finish on this note. Let's put out another plea for volunteers and donations. So let me just remind everybody that if you've got food particularly, not clothing, but food in particular, or of course funding, you'll always accept some money, right?
Yes, we will always, and it does not matter if you have a child that wants to give. They've been saving in their piggy bank. No money all money helps fight hunger.
Absolutely. The address is 1345 Gibbs Avenue Northeast in Canton. You can call 330-454-8610. Might be a good idea to give that number a call first before going, making sure that what you're donating is something that is a need at the time. 330-454-8610. And then I'm going to turn it over to you, Shawnetta. Put out that plea for volunteers.
Yes, we are in need of volunteers any time that you can help. So right now what we need for volunteers is every Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and Wednesdays from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. You just call ahead into the mission and you can have a conversation. I'll get you all the information as a volunteer, and we look forward to seeing you. But we are in need of volunteers. We all need to help out in our local mission.
Shawnetta Yancey from the Canton Calvary Mission, thank you so much for everything you do in our community.
And thank you so much for having us.